Hey there, listeners. Welcome back to Podcast Demastered. We hope that you all are doing well, getting into the end of the year here. We only have one episode left. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And that last episode will be our year in review, so look forward to that. But today, we are going to talk about the Game Awards.
Yes.
Or the game announcements with some awards.
Yeah, the 3.5 hour time commitment.
I know, I didn't get to play any Dreamlight Valley because I was sitting there watching Jeffrey make an ass of himself the whole time. You hear that, Jeffrey? I hope you do. I heard you. All right. So no, it started, we had the pre-show started at like 6:30. That sounds right. Mm-hmm. And then the actual award show started at 7. Again, I'm using the word award show loosely. But started at 7 and went all the way until about 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And they announced 5 awards.
Well, hold on, I'm going to talk about that right off the bat, about how they announced the awards.
Do it.
Because we had a lot of those moments where, like, let's just name off, like, 3, 4, 5 awards right now, and let's move on to...
like, major awards.
Yeah.
Major awards.
And this is also what I had a problem with the previous Oscars, when they were kind of like, you know, we're having an awards ceremony celebrating these games, talking about these very specific categories, you know, people deserve recognition. But like with the Oscars, they were just kind of like, well, we're deeming these, quote, like not as important. Then I'm like, well, then why are you like choosing to acknowledge, like either you're going to fully acknowledge them or you're not? Because that's the problem with this show too. We had a pre-show where they gave a lot of these, and one of the awards they gave out during the pre-show, I was like, that's kind of like a really rude thing to say. It's not part of the main awards. Their accessibility award. They're like,
that wasn't very accessible of them.
No, and or also just very inclusive, being like, you know, this is such an important award. This is what we need to see more of in games, and then
But only if you watch the pre-show. Sorry.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. Yeah. Okay, guys, like, I just was annoyed by that, with like, not everybody had time for speeches, but then cutting people off after talking for like 10 seconds.
Oh my gosh. Like, yes, last year, some of the speeches, very few of them, they were long.
Yes.
But like, even if they're long, it's their show. It's their award show.
Yeah.
Like, this is the platform where they get to come and be honored and congratulate the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that work on the games and things like that. And like they're letting celebrities come up who have like next to nothing to do with anything, just come up and talk absolute nonsense for like, you know, some of them close to 10 minutes apiece.
Yeah.
And it's like, Anthony Mackie got up there, and I legit, the whole time, I was making a joke, but it wasn't really a joke. I was like, are you on drugs, Anthony Mackie? Like, what are you talking about?
He was so
At least Simu Liu was, like, coherent, you know?
Yeah.
But Anthony Mackie legitimately was just like, congrats to the 10 people who watched Twisted Metal, I guess, which took you 10 seconds to talk about. But what are you talking about for the other 7 minutes? Like, what?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, we also had Matthew McConaughey, Timothée Chalamet.
Why was Timothée Chalamet doing Game of the Year? Why?
Okay, let's just talk about that
Ben
quickly.
Starr was sitting right there. I'm just saying.
So many other people. Like, we could have had so many other iconic video game people in this. But, okay, do you actually know... I know a weird fact about Timothée Chalamet.
Oh, was that about the joke, not joke they made about him? Like...
Yes. So he used to have a YouTube channel, and he used to...
Was that the one that he rapped on?
No, it's the one where he had videos about his Xbox controllers, where he like hand-painted designs on them and sold them.
Okay.
And so, I don't know, I guess it's trying to show like, look, let's have a fun, like, famous game nerd here too, but also, like, was he promoting Wonka? Like, I have no idea, like, but why? Was this the correct demographic?
I mean,
is everybody now
at least he
Wonka?
just got up there and announced it and left. Like, at least he wasn't up there for forever. Matthew McConaughey.
I was shocked by that, to be honest. I was like, I'm not ready for how long he's going to be up on stage.
Well, that's true, because that boy liked to talk.
Yeah, he's a special man.
He's our special little guy.
But yeah, I just was like, why? Because when I saw that announcement, like on Instagram, that he was going to be at the Game Awards, I was like, please don't announce Game of the Year. Please don't announce. And then
he did.
Yeah.
And then he did. I was like half expecting him to mispronounce Baldur's Gate, but oh well. Here we are.
Yeah, I was not sure what was going to come out of his mouth. But yeah, no. So we just like, it's become this event of Jeffrey, I feel like, just showing off, like, look at all my big, powerful friends, and let's not talk about the
it's so bizarre
themselves.
because, like, I have a lot of sympathy for the whole situation that the Game Awards is in. You know, like, they got rid of E3, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Which, you know, Jeffrey detached himself from E3. It's been so long, but he detached himself from E3 and he started the Game Awards so he could, like, have his own show. It's not the Jeffrey Keighley show necessarily, which is great, but he started his own things. Like, well, now I need sponsors, I need support, so people actually watch. So, because they had the first few Game Awards where it was like just the awards, you know, and like maybe a big announcement at the end. Define big, but like maybe, you know? So he needed support, we need sponsors, we need a reason, quote unquote, we need a reason for people to watch the show. That's not just about the awards, I guess. So we got there, but then like we blew way past that point years ago. Now it's 2.5 hours of ads and quote unquote world premieres. You know, let's just attach that to literally everything that we do. Yeah. And also we're just going to hurry through the awards because people aren't here for that. At the Game Awards. Like Larian was up there giving their speech for Game of the Flippin' Year, you know, talking about how major this was for representation, for indie development, for the people that died while working on the game.
Yeah.
And they were being pushed off the stage. Like,
yeah, I could not believe that. It was
like near disgusting. And they started that, you know, when they did voice actor, you know, best performance. Yeah. When they did that to the guy who plays Asterion, he was also he was also trying to get that same stuff out of his mouth. And they pushed him off the stage. Like, oh.
Well, they started it off on like a weird footing because like the guy that introduced that award to was the one who won last year, and he was the one who infamously talked the longest.
Forever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like forever. Like I think it was over 7 minutes long or something.
Yeah, it was.
That,
it was almost like, 8. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I agree. We don't need everybody to give those long speeches. Like that's understandable, but like really cutting people off when like they barely have been up there. Like, come on, there needs to be a better balance of that. Yes. And I really felt like for some people it was picking and choosing because like we said, like a lot of these like guests or whatever that came up and like talked a ton before, like why do we need all that banter when like give the people, because these games, the people who worked on a lot of these games, like they have a lot of people to thank because most games are not made by one person. So there's a lot of people involved. Yeah. And it's just, you know, it wasn't like a long thing about like, thanks so much for me being the greatest person on earth. People were like, thank you for all your support for our gamers who appreciated this. Like,
it was, there was like a sole representative of the game up there thanking literally everybody else who worked on the game. Had nothing to do with the person who was physically up there. Like even the voice actor who was up there, he wasn't talking about himself at all. Although he should have, you know, it was his moment. He could have. But he wasn't. He was talking about all the people who like felt seen by Asterian's character and the game as a whole. And like why does Kojima need this big platform every single year in which he uses to talk about nothing?
Because
I thought Jeffrey, when he was actually physically there standing next to Jeffrey, I thought he was going to literally pee his pants. That guy was giddy. Like,
giddy is an understatement. Yes.
Oh my God. He was doing the pee dance in his excitement.
Yeah. Well, and I love how Kojima was kind of like, because that's also when we had Jordan Peele out on stage, and he was just like, I'm with a cool filmmaker, like, I'm focusing my attention on him, and Jeffrey's all like, hey, what about
like,
me?
Look at me over here, look at me.
Yeah, but no, it was all talk about, which we got a lot of that. I felt like a lot of talk hyping up certain projects, and then we were like shown nothing.
Like, okay, like the Kojima game. Okay, we'll see that in 8 years. Like, okay.
Yeah, but we'll talk about it every single game show.
And we'll show you nothing.
At Summer Game Fest as well. Yeah.
Yes, Summer Games Fest, I'm sure, yes.
Yeah, which I think is so funny too. Like, I feel like people have discussed this. Like, we've seen stuff about certain games, but like they're still years out. And then, like, that causes a lot of problems, like, seeing a lot of stuff about some of these games too early. I mean, it's good to, like, get a hint of what's coming ahead, but sometimes that also just really affects, like, the outcome of the project, I feel like, in some ways, too. With, like, just really trying to meet those schedules, rushing, not quite meeting the quality they want to, or just people expecting too much, which
well,
I
always.
thought that was actually yes. Well, yes, it's kind of hard not to. But talking about expecting too much, I thought it was really funny talking about like presenting a game when you had is it Sean Murray, who the creator of No Man's Sky, the head of Hello Games, which anybody who knows anything about No Man's Sky, that game has been through like
a lot.
So much, a lot.
For
But,
better
like,
or worse,
it's
you know, like, yeah.
Yeah, but it's such an incredible game now. Like, it's, like, evolved so much. And so then he was going to announce their new game. And it was one of those things where it was just like, okay, well, maybe he learned, like, from his past experience, let's tease something small now. Nope. Let's go big and say, we've created a game more insane than No Man's Sky, a real living planet everybody can be on at once. Like, it sounds insane. It sounds super ambitious. Like... like, that was just crazy. That game, we shall see how that is in the future. But, and also I thought it had a weird name because it's called Light No Fire. I was not expecting that to be the title.
Light No Fire. Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Yeah. Whatever, you know.
We'll see.
So,
we'll see how that reflects on the game. I don't know.
Yeah. But, like, in general with the Game Awards, like, I don't mind having, like, some fun announcements here and there and stuff. But, yeah, it really had become more of just the showcase of all the world premieres and let's move past the awards themselves.
No. We need 12 trailers for sci-fi shooters, okay? We need them.
I love sci-fi games, but then, yeah, a lot of them just looked so similar.
Well, like, last year it was like, hey, are you ready for a new horror thriller game? Because we've got 20 of them tonight. This year it was the same, just with sci-fi shooters. So
That
what's
is
next
fair.
year going to be? Can I get 20, like, Pokemon trailers? That would be fine.
Yep.
There was one moment that I was so mad because he got me, because Jeffrey got me. That's when they did the performance in the simultaneous performance and new trailer for the Final Fantasy game for 7 Remake Part 2. And I was like, "Oh my god, this is so lovely." I ate it up. It was amazing. And then they announced that, like, Uematsu, like the traditional composer for all Final Fantasy games, that he did this, that he wrote the song, which he doesn't write a lot of music anymore. He old. Or, like, the main themes, anyway. He doesn't really write those anymore.
Yeah.
They talked about how, like, he did that. It's the first time that he's written a game's, like, vocal theme in a hot minute. Like, it's been a bit.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so lovely. And then Jeffrey got up on that stage and was all like, but did you think that was all the Final Fantasy you were getting tonight? And then, like, cut to black. And I was like... I'm, like, pulling the remaining parts of my hair out. I'm like, oh my god, this is it. Final Fantasy IX Remake. It was freaking... Oh my gosh, the Final Fantasy and, like, Apex, whatever. Yeah. I forget the name of the game.
Apex.
It was a crossover on that, and I wanted to light my apartment building on fire. I was like, how dare you?
I was like, that's
how dare
what you're
you trick me?
right there. Yeah.
Like, that was not funny. Don't ever do that again. Like... The Final Fantasy community, we've been waiting on pins and needles for 2 years for them to announce this damn game. Which is, like, all but leaked. Like, you know, that it's going to happen. And he's just playing with my heart like that. And I swear to God.
Yeah. Like, I wasn't, like, totally focused on the moment, but it piqued my interest because I was like, oh, really? Like, what else is being announced? And then I was like, oh, that's what you announced? Oh, that's very disappointing. And there's going to be a lot of unhappy people with how you portrayed the setup.
Me.
Yeah. No, I'm sure you're not the only one. And I'm like, maybe they should have switched it and, like, started with the dumb thing
I
with,
thought
like,
the
Apex
same
Legends.
too. And then you could be like, but that's not all the Final Fantasy. They could have done that.
Yeah. Should have been a reversal there. But I feel like, yeah, just some of the layout of some things with the show. And also... talking about some of the other games that were kind of interesting that we got to see, because one of the games that I think we both thought was pretty neat was one that was shown during the pre-show, which is pretty near the part where the accessibility award was given out, and I'm like, okay, this should have been in the main show, but the game is called Harmonium, and that game, it looks so refreshing. Also, when I was watching it, I kind of said out loud to myself, and I was kind of like, in a weird way, I was like, I bet Disney's kind of jealous they didn't think of something like this.
Probably.
Yeah. Just
Probably.
because, like, it gave me kind of a vibe of almost, like, that like refreshing, like, Disney type movie, because it has like singing elements to it, like the little journey for the character. But in general, I guess we could talk about a little bit more about that game, because it's something that we haven't even, like, I don't think I've ever seen a game before that portrays like a deaf protagonist. Mm-mm. That actually, like,
well, there is a protagonist in Spider-Man 2.
Oh,
well,
yes.
She was in the
Spider-Man
Miles
1.
game.
Yes,
Haley.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. She's in the game a lot in Spider-Man 2. You can even play as her during one segment.
Ooh.
Which is pretty cool. But no, I understand what you're saying. Like, this is like the first game, I'm pretty sure, that sets itself up in this way.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just, well, I guess, like, it's kind of sad to say you can only think of one thing, but it's good to see that this potentially leaves the opportunity for more characters, to see more diversity in games and more people telling stories in unique ways. But I think I like seeing all these fun and different types of games, and games that we like that are different, so we don't have to have all sci-fi shooters.
We like new experiences. We like new perceptions. We love new points of view. Mm-hmm. Like, we are those people who like to grow as people in our gaming and not just stick to the one thing and then make that our personality.
Yeah. So yeah, I am really looking forward to seeing more about this game. I mean, because it was set up as basically a musical adventure game with a deaf protagonist. And
that is absolutely playable if you're deaf. Like, that's the audience. That's the audience. If anybody else can play it, congrats. It's not about you.
Yeah. But I loved, like, working with a community and making a game for them, but also a game that's available to everybody to play as well. It's just very cool. Yeah. I'm excited. I just had to make sure we mentioned that on this episode. Look up a game if you didn't watch the Game Awards, and just check it out. It looks really cool.
Was there anything else that like got your attention?
Okay, this one did, but for a ridiculous reason. I've always been on the fence with Fortnite. Like, I played it a lot when it first came out. Like, I enjoyed every once in a while. It's good to play with your friends. Like, it's just, it comes and goes as a good time. But adding Legos to Fortnite, I freaking love Legos, like, in general.
Like Chef's Kiss, right?
Oh my gosh, like this. and this is free, part of Fortnite, which, like, Fortnite and all their, like, crazy game modes are free too. But, like, this is like a whole adventure game added to,
like it's a whole secondary game. Like, you don't have to do a dang thing else. You can just go do this.
Yeah. And I mean,
which I'll tell you, people are doing it because that's all my children have talked about for the last 3 school days is Lego Fortnite. That's all they've been playing.
No, like, Fortnite knew what they were doing with this, but, like, I mean, Lego Fortnite was announced like a couple days before the Game Awards, but seeing more of it, like, showcased there and just, like, hyping it up again, I'm just like, okay, apparently I need to drop everything I'm playing right now and get on Lego Fortnite.
Have you played it yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh, we should play it together. We should do it together. Like,
okay, yes.
I mean, I'll have to like download it on my PlayStation. I guess I don't have Fortnite on my PlayStation.
I don't have it on my PS5. It's on my PS4, so I'll get that.
Okay, yeah. So let's do that. Let's do that sometime very soon.
Yes.
And I can understand what my children are talking about, because I'm just like, what?
Yeah. But I am. It's just mind blowing. Fortnite has just evolved from, like, it's just an ever evolving thing.
It's like a full gaming hub now. Like,
yes, that's the best
go
way
there
to
with
describe
your
it.
friends and then choose something to play. Like, it's not just Fortnite anymore. It's a whole dang thing.
And, like, a whole social experience.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
like, and they have, like, the Rocket League racing. That's cool.
Yeah, because that was announced that it was just coming. Yeah, which racing games I do like some good slick racing games, but one game that wasn't at the Game Awards, but I will mention, Disney Speedstorm, because that did actually become free to play. So
did that move into?
Maybe we'll talk about that.
Into full?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, that they chose to make that one free to play, and then left Dreamlight Valley the way it was. But it's just, I don't know. That's a side note. Maybe we'll talk about Speedstorm another time, but that game's a blast. And so, having fun, good racing games, can't go wrong with that. But then also, Fortnite, crazy experience, so many different modes to play. Like, wow. I just, major props to them, because who knows what'll happen next in that game.
I mean, they're definitely moving in a direction that's pretty cool for a game that's, they didn't really create the Battle Royale experience necessarily, but it definitely like pushed it in a new direction, which also caused a lot of other people to go in the same direction. And they've done a pretty okay job at like keeping it from getting stale, you know?
Yes.
But with this
definitely.
though, with this, now it's a whole other thing. Now they're doing something else. And I'm curious if they've done something that only they can do. Like other games, they can't necessarily like follow that route. Like you're not going to see Call of Duty with its 8 different game modes, you know.
Yeah, and then throwing Lego.
Although
in
they
mix.
will try, I'm sure, because Call of Duty is the king of taking what other people have done and working it into their own game. But, you know, I don't know if anybody else can do that.
No, or do it as well as Fortnite has done with what they have.
At the very least, yeah.
And keeping up that popularity, too. Like, having enough people. Because I feel like there's a lot of those games, too, that are multiplayer games where you wait, like, in a lobby for, like, absolutely forever and never have enough people to load in, so you don't get to have those fun experiences. But, like, they're keeping the hype going, so.
Absolutely.
That's crazy. But, yeah, so that was one I definitely want to point out. Were there any other things from the Game Awards that stuck out to you?
No, not really. I mean, the World of Goo 2, that made me raise my eyebrow because I played the original one on the Wii and I liked that game a lot. That was fun. So I was just like, oh, of all the games to get a sequel, let's go. Here we go. Probably won't play it, but cool. Visions of Mana from Square. That's like that's, you know, like the old Mana games. Like Final Fantasy adjacent, basically. Like, this game looks remarkable next to those games. Like, that's something. I don't know if I'm going to get that game because I've never played a real Mana game before, but maybe. We'll see what I'm playing at the time. But no, everything else, even like Marvel's, like the Blade game, made me go, like, I'm pretty sure I even skipped out on like half of the trailer. Like, I was so zoned out. And at the end, I looked up and saw like, you know, the red screen announcing Blade with the sword, and I was like, oh, that was a Blade trailer. Oh, okay. But then I also saw it's from Bethesda, so I was like, Xbox exclusive, which they are refusing to comment on at the moment, which means Xbox exclusive.
It's
so,
no, it's Xbox exclusive.
So I'm probably good on that one. I mean, I have an Xbox, but Xbox users can have their Marvel game. Question mark, like, have fun. Also, the announcement that Palia is coming to Switch.
Yeah.
I have not touched that game in a hot second because, like a long time ago, remember how my story quest got glitched? They're still not fixed. It's not fixed.
That's so weird.
And so I can't really play. I mean, I can play. I can do the farming thing, but like the story, I can't unlock my hand glider. I can't do anything in the game. So at first I was like, oh, well, I can start over in Palia. I can just start over. It's a bummer, but it's okay. But then they were like, no, you need to go and like connect your account. I'm like, oh, great. So I'll just be locked out of 2 versions then, I guess. I don't know. I'll probably give it a shot.
Yeah.
We'll see. I wanted to play it on Switch. That's what I wanted to play it initially. So maybe. We'll see.
Maybe there's a way to just restart your character.
I'm sure there probably is, but I've been so ticked at it, I didn't even go look at it, so...
No, I mean, that's totally fair.
Because I made a thing. I asked the developers, like, hey, like, I can't do this. And they were basically like, sorry. Like, that was basically the response I got, like, a month and a half later.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, okay.
Yeah, that is such a bummer.
But the new Monster Hunter, it looks interesting. Brandon has been diving ever deeper into the lore of Monster Hunter. And we have like the current one, the one for the Switch. We both have a copy, but like we were struggling when we started it, like, and playing it. And then later on, Brandon started getting really in depth with the lore. He plays like the phone one.
Oh, okay.
Like the people who make Pokemon Go, they made a Monster Hunter, and he has been just, I think he's like in love with that game, which is fun. I play with him when I can. It's a fun time. I think it's probably right now it's better than Pokemon Go. It's more like interesting, you know. But this new Wilds game, it looks interesting. So we'll see.
Yeah, I've never really like I know very little about those games. I really haven't gotten into it, but I know people enjoy it, so it's always good for, hearing about a sequel to a game you enjoy for people. So
Oh, right. You can be happy for people who like to play it. Like, that's okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's kind of where I'm at right now. We'll see when it comes out. I don't have like history with them except for my failed attempt at Arise. But that was my fault. That wasn't the game's fault. So we'll see.
Yeah. And I feel like that's with any like game show type thing or whatever too. Like there's always so many trailers, so many expectations. Like I really tried to go into the Game Awards with like no expectations because I knew that all the games I was hoping to see were like very unlikely going to be there. And so, you know what?
Kingdom Hearts 4.
No, definitely not. So sad. Which at one point I did think, because there was one part that he was hyping up about like, we haven't seen something from this in a long time, and I'm like, well, we did get Kingdom Hearts 3, I guess not that long ago, so I guess it's probably not Kingdom Hearts, but
that almost had me listening, but I was like, oh, it was just like
I was like, okay. There's no way. And I mean, you know what, not every game show thing or anything is going to be for you, so like, that can suck in some ways, but I'm glad there's a variety of games. There's always new things coming out because there's something for everybody, but so at least somebody will be playing some of these things. We're interested in some, like I said, not the rest, but listeners, let us know like if you watch the Game Awards and if something there piqued your interest.
Well, there's a few bigger things that we didn't even talk about. And so listeners, let us know, yell at us that we didn't talk about God of War or something like that.
I mean, I enjoyed God of War, but I was just like, this is not really what I was hoping for. I was hoping for like, I mean, like
shadow dropping DLC is cool.
Yeah.
Although they did that with the Final Fantasy 16 too. They also said, hey, shadow drop some DLC. I have not touched that. I did buy it, but I haven't touched it yet. So someday, eventually.
Well, I guess, okay, since we were complaining about the Game Awards not recognizing some of the awards, we could talk about a couple of them quickly, and then we can... So... I was well...
Final Fantasy 16 did win best, was that, like, soundtrack? Something like that? That made me happy. That's fine. I wanted Ben Starr to win best performance, because I love him, and so I wanted him to have the world, but I'm okay with the Asterion guy getting it, too. It's fine.
Yeah. And then we had Alan Wake with some big wins, one of them being two getting best narrative. Yeah. And I think they got a couple other ones too. Of course, I still haven't played it yet. My joke is I still haven't even played the first one. But
the first one.
I've just played Control, but I'm so excited to play them both, like Alan Wake 1 and 2.
Someday.
And just someday. Those I just can't wait to experience. I'm also afraid to experience them because they they kind of lean a little bit more in the horror side, which, I mean, Control has some of those aspects, but I know Alan Wake 2 has more of those. But you know what? I'm going to somehow get through those and enjoy the crazy ride those games are going to put me on. Just in that whole world.
Go.
But props to them for those games, winning those great awards. I'm like, yep, expect nothing less from them. And then, I guess we could just talk about Game of the Year, because, a lot of people want to know what the heck Game of the Year was, so.
Yeah, I mean, I brought it up, like, at the very, very beginning. But yeah, Baldur's Gate got Game of the Year. I'm not disappointed. Yeah. I've like started it up. I did buy it. We just bought it on PlayStation 5 like a couple days ago. So I'm sure I'll get back into it. I'll have to like find a way to recreate my character from the PC. But I get to play it on a stable machine. My PC was fighting me a little bit with Baldur's Gate. So I was like, I'll just leave it to Brandon. It's fine.
Yeah.
So I'll give it a shot. Like we'll get there. I know, like, I want to, like, romance Asterion really badly. But also, like, I also know, like, who and what Asterion is. And my play style is, like, the exact opposite. Like, the way that I would have a character, Like, Asterion was gonna hate that character. Like, rules and righteousness and... not Asterion, but, like, I'll figure it out. I'll get there. Never you mind how, but I'll get there.
Oh man, yeah. No, that game has me intrigued. I've never played Baldur's Gate before, but I've heard so much about it, so maybe sometime.
I played the second one like 50 years ago. Like a very long time ago. I have played it, but yeah, this one is like a whole other thing. Baldur's Gate 3 is in and of itself is like it feels so different. from like the other two, you know, mostly because it's a modern game and the other two were not, you know, they're a whole other thing. So,
but yeah, any other final notes?
Oh, I don't think so. I think we covered it. Jeffrey,
Okay.
get your life together. Figure out how you want to run this show.
Respect
Do
all
it.
awards.
Respect all awards.
Yeah.
It's their show,
Let people talk about it.
not the company's show. If you want the developers to be celebrities, so let them be celebrities. You know, like you get so excited when they get up there on the stage, so let them be on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Until the next Game Awards. Yeah.
Until next year. Oh, so exciting.
Yeah.
Or Summer Game Fest at the very least. We'll see.
Oh boy.
See if Jeffrey's attitude has improved at all. We'll see.
Kojima will be there. No.
Kojima will be there. He'll be there. Anyway, folks, we hope that you enjoyed our episode. Whatever we have left out, which there's tons that we left out, we're so sorry. But whatever we did leave out, let us know what we missed and what you were excited about. Or if you have strong words for Jeffrey as well, that's fine too. You can tell us those things. We'll celebrate you. Go to our social medias. Follow us everywhere. We're all over the place now, including Blue Sky. We're not on Threads yet. Maybe someday. We'll see.
Yeah.
We don't know yet. Kind of have a Discord in the works, sort of. Kind of. We're getting there.
Mm-hmm.
It's very slow. But like, if that sounds interesting to you, let us know and we'll speed up the process a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, guys, we have one episode in us till the end of the year. That'll be our year of review. So get out there and look forward to that. Hopefully that's a good time. We have a lot to talk about this year, I feel like.
Yeah. And yeah, listeners.
My goodness.
Yeah, let us know too. What have been your favorites from the year too? We'd love to hear from you.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, we'll hit the new year. And I think it's the end of March, mid-March. We'll be hitting 100 episodes.
Yes.
100 episode anniversary. So, woo!
Be looking
You're
out
up.
for what we're going to be doing for that. So.
Oh, yes. But until then, folks, we will catch you later.
Yeah.
Bye.